Today on the channel, our Jakks deep dives continue as we take a look at the bootleg Jakks Classic Superstars figures. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our continuing deep dive into the Jakks Classic Superstars series. For over a year and a half now, we've been digging in and we've been going set by set, line by line through all the Jakks Classic Superstars figures that were ever released. You too can be a Jakks Classic Superstars expert. Go check out the videos you missed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more videos, as this is kind of the last miscellaneous video we're going to do. Is next on, if you're following in order, we're going to start in on the Jakks Classic Superstars Deluxe Classic Superstars Toys R Us exclusive. So we'll be diving into that line next week. But this week we're finishing off with some miscellaneous videos. And today we've got something I don't think's ever been talked about on YouTube or really out there at all, as we're going to talk a little bit about Jakks Classic Superstars bootlegs. Yes, bootleg figures. And when you're covering all the Jakks Class Superstars, we got to cover things like this. And bootlegs are as old as time. Whenever something is popular, guess what? Somebody is going to try to get money, be incentivized off of whatever's popular. We could be talking about music, toys especially. I've seen it with batteries. You've seen it with car parts. The list goes on for days. Whenever somebody can make a cheap buck off of something that's popular, they're going to do it. And action figures is one of the most bootleg things around, at least that I deal with. And Jakks Classic Superstars also fell victim to the bootleg days. Bootlegs have a certain charm to them. I don't know about you guys. I do pick up an occasional wrestling figure bootleg every once in a while. Sometimes they're very funny. Sometimes they're very good. The old Hasbro style bootlegs, man, I wish I had those as a kid. I could have used those guys as jobbers or something in my playing days. And we did do a deep dive video on those. Search my name and bootlegs should come up as I walk through some of the Manics and some of the other bootleg toys of yesterday. But today we're talking the Jakks Class Superstars, and specifically Jakks bootlegs. And still to this day, we are seeing Jakks figures bootlegged out there. And bootlegs are very strange. Sometimes you'll find them at your Dollar General, Dollar Tree stores, Family Dollars, flea markets, of course. A lot of those places are the usual suspects for bootlegs. And I always say you should really be able to spot a bootleg a mile away. And the old words of, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But when you see a bootleg, usually you know it's bootlegs. Those Family Dollars, Dollar Trees of the world, they get so much bootleg product, bootleg food, bootleg batteries, like I said, tons of action figures. It just kind of slips through the mainstream. It's such a small piece. A lot of the major companies do not go after them. Sometimes they do, of course, but most of the time they do not. But like I said, you can usually spot a bootleg if you know what you're looking for. If you know you're looking for a Mattel Elite or a Jakks Class Superstar, you should know what they look like, and you should say, okay, something's not firing right here. That being said, a lot of times there's bootlegs out there that I do really enjoy, and I'm going to do one example here. Not quite Classic Superstars. We had this in weekly purchases a few weeks ago. Hopefully you're subscribed to the channel. Hopefully you're checking out my Saturday weekly purchases videos. But I have this. This is pretty funny, and this is a little bit Jakks, as the bodies that were used in these bootlegs are basically Jakks Ruthless Aggression style figures, which Classic Superstars are primarily. So it's very interesting. These molds, they're over there in China. Of course, the majority of bootleg stuff comes from the Chinas, the Indias of the world, just like figures and everything else. It seems to come out of there. Big factories doing stuff, things falling off to the side, some side deals, things like that going on. You never know. But something like this, you get at a Dollar Tree or whatever, 15 bucks, whatever it may be, you should be able to tell this is a bootleg. But who usually falls victim to these bootlegs is the uneducated, the people that don't know anything about wrestling figures. But they know little Johnny at home, he loves wrestling figures. Grandma's at her Dollar Tree, sees this. Oh my gosh, $15. This would be great for when Johnny comes over. And there's a lot of kids out there. And leave me a note in the comments down below. Did your grandma, for example, ever get you a bootleg wrestling figure, G.I. Joe figure, whatever it may be, Transformer, You came over to her house, she surprised you, hey, it's for you at our house, stuff like that. I think that's happened to all of us somewhere along the line. And like I said, there's a certain charm to these things. And I know there's some people that probably played with bootleg toys that really love their bootleg toys. And they have fond memories of playing with them. And maybe they didn't know as a small kid they were bootlegs. But things like this is one that's recently released in the last couple of years. I got this off eBay for 15 bucks. It was so absurd I have to buy it. Of course, there's things to look at when you're looking at bootlegs. You can see right there, you got Rey Mysterio, Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton. Just very, very interesting, to say the least. To say the least, very interesting. We got a window box there, small accessories. That's a first sign right there that, hey, this isn't firing on all cylinders. The cheap plastic, the cheap paint jobs on the figures, something's amiss here. But then the other way to spot bootlegs, be it classic superstar bootlegs or anything else, is the weird phrasing and the weird words that are used. You can see right at the top above the figures, Ultimate Warrior Power. I love Ultimate Warrior Power more than most, but very strange to put this on the package. Trying to get a little bit of Mattel rub right here with the Flex Force going on. Very, very strange. On the back, I love it. Try me, play with me, I will give you infinite happiness. So things like that just isn't firing on all cylinders, that is very, very strange. Be filled with the tournament stage of intense emotion, toy model of a virtual reality, fighting hero, first grade product, all telltale signs that, hey, this ain't firing on all cylinders. This is a bootleg item. So there's all this time. Bootlegs have been around forever. Feel free to share your bootleg story down in the comments below. But this is a recent example of bootlegs, but little did I know, in some of the research I've been doing for these Jakks Classic Superstars videos, little did I know that there was bootlegs of the Jakks Classic Superstars. I had no clue about these. I came across a picture just on a Google search, dived in, searched a little harder, switched some terms around. I came across a Twitter account called The World of Wrestling Figures. They had some pictures here that we're going to use, and the one I got from Google. And we'll kind of discuss it and show pictures of it. And I got my little handy-dandy iPad right here. But we did, the first one I found was a picture of Kane. So it says Classic Superstars, has the Classic Superstars logo on it. Looks cool enough. And that being said, before we go into all this, man, if I found these and if I could pick these up, I would buy these in a heartbeat. Bootlegs, they're so good, or they're so bad, they're good. And that's how I view this one, especially being Jakks Classic, inspired, logoed. I feel like I need these in my collection. So I've got an eBay search up. Hopefully one of these days I come across these all mint on card. I would love to add these to my collection. Maybe you guys know where I can get them. Let me know. Reach out to me. SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram, of course. So reach out to me if you know where I can score these. But you can see the packaging here. Not quite Classic Superstars packaging. The background, the generic, really bad, like copied pictures of the WWE Superstars. You have the WWE scratch logo in the top, and then it has the new arrival. Collect them all. Let's fight. Yes, let's fight. Safety tested for ages 3 and up, which is always fun. Then they put the Jakks logo at the very top. Just kind of a cheesy thing, but of course, if you're making a bootleg, you've got to give stuff like that. You've got to throw Mattel or Jakks on there, because then it'll really feel official if you do that. Then they have a little saying down below Kane's legs here. They who will give something championship. So broken English once again. That tells you, hey, it's a bootleg, came from China, something's up. That's most likely. Choking hazard. What's it say down there? Just fan the superstar now on the leg. So very, once again, broken English, very strange. On the back of the package, you get Deluxe Aggression Series 1, which ends up being the same as the Classic Superstars that we're going to dive into. So you get some pictures of other bootleg figures, the road to WrestleMania. But they do a pretty good job on the back of this package. They put the old, don't be a punk, get them all. So they're really crossing over different Jakks lines into one packaging because, hey, they're a bootleg. They don't understand the individual lines and stuff. They just see these things. Okay, we throw them on here. It's going to make it look official. That's what they're thinking. Classic Superstars logo, of course. Promoting the belts, that's something Jakks did all the time, so that was pretty smart. Warnings and stuff like that, UPC, all that fun stuff. I will say this Kane figure, I mean, the decor on it, you can see the pants. It looks like a Jakks Ruthless Aggression style figure. It's definitely the Jakks Ruthless Aggression style figure. You can tell, it looks just like him. I'm not sure if that's actually the Kane head or the bald Snitsky head. I think it is the Kane. But it's taking cheaper runoff products, making their own. bootlegged off to the side, of course, in some of these factories. I would imagine if you touch these, you could definitely tell the difference in the plastic. A much cheaper plastic is used on these bootlegs. And then, of course, not as much paint, not as much color, because they're not taking the time. They're bootlegs. So Kane, you can see, it almost looks like Ruthless Aggression 42, 43, 44. There was a Kane in there. This actually has more paint applications than that Kane at the end of the Dying Jakks days, which is kind of funny. Also should say, Superstar Wrestling, Divas USA at the top, because Divas USA, Superstars Wrestling, man, nobody's going to see through that. But very interesting set. And then we get to the pictures I got from the World of Wrestling Figures on Twitter. Look them up. It seems they have a Twitter account out there, and that's where these pictures came from in my Google search. But you got Undertaker, 2 different versions, and then the Kane we were just talking about. Undertaker, look at that middle one. It's Undertaker without the jacket with just the black arms. That's how Jakks did things. If you go to flea markets and toy stores, toy shops, local toy shops and stuff, you see a lot of Undertakers from the Jakks days that look like that because the kid took the coat off and stuff. But cheap plastic. That one Undertaker on the end looks all right. I mean, they look okay in package, I think, and just the cheesiness of them all and just the Jakks Classic Superstars of them all is kind of cool. Outside of the package, these are very prone to breaking very easy, as you guys are fully aware, I'm sure. But yeah, there's 2 Undertakers and Kane. Then you get to John Cena. You got John Cena in long pants, a little interesting. And you see this in bootlegs a lot. Reusing parts from different figures to make somebody new. You put the head on and now it's crazy John Cena in jeans. You got John Cena. Triple H doesn't look too bad. Almost looks like something we would actually see from Jakks in some of their sets. No knee pads, no elbow pads. A horrible Triple H head scan. It's one of my least favorites from the Jakks days, of course. And then you get Kurt Angle here. And that Kurt Angle is very interesting. It's a different Ruthless Aggression Kurt Angle figure with a haired head, which was very early on in Jakks. They gave him hair, but he didn't get a whole lot of Jakks figures with hair. So it's a little mishmash of different Kurt Angles brought together. So I found that to be pretty funny. Then you get into The Rock, but the big W, like the Warlord or something. I don't know what's going on with those tights, but it looks like The Rock, because skin tone not quite matching. The head skin's definitely The Rock, and then weird tights. Very, very strange with that one. Jeff Hardy, one of the very good Jeff Hardy later releases. I want to say off the top of my head that was an Adrenaline 2-pack, maybe with Matt or somebody else. I really do like that Jeff Hardy with the little purple hair going on. So that's a pretty good figure. That was a part of this. And then Edge, no doubt, millions of Edges in the Jakks days, and Jack just re-releasing one of these here. My guess, once again, no cheaper plastic, everything else, but these look, outside of The Rock on these two, they look like they walked right off the Adrenaline, Treacherous Trios, Ruthless Aggression, Ring Rage pegs, whatever you want to call or whatever the figure is. Very, very interesting on those. And then the final 3, we got 2 different Rey Mysterios. We get that Flash Rey Mysterio. That was released 2 different ways over the time with Jakks. None of these figures were ever in the Classic Superstars main line. So that's another thing that gets you like, hey, these guys weren't in the Classic Superstars. But that Rey is a very common one, very cool one from the Jakks days with the Flash, but he's missing his arms, so he's got mismatched arms on that. The other Rey Mysterio I absolutely love. That could be one of my, if not my favorite Rey Mysterio figure of all time. He came with one of those belt sets that Jakks came out with back in the day. ECW-inspired gear from Rey. Just always loved that Rey Mysterio. And then you got Batista on the very end. Once again, like that Edge. And Triple H looks like he kind of just walked off the pegs from all the other ones. There's not a lot of difference in those. So very, very interesting, these Jakks Classic Superstars bootlegs. Like I said, recently just found out about these. I'd never seen these in any of my stores, but I don't really peruse the old Dollar Generals, Family Dollars. I don't really hit those stores up very often to find things like this. But man, if I could find these guys, I'd be pretty happy in my Classic Superstars collection. But very interesting. And when you're covering everything Classic Superstars, everything that's got the logo, I felt this would be a fitting video to do a little bootleg wrestling figure discussion. Like I said, I did do Hasbro-inspired bootlegs. We did a video very early on in the channel. So if you search Kyle Peterson bootleg wrestling figure, something like that, you can go look at some of my other bootleg wrestling figures that I have in my collection. That was a fun one. We might redo that video someday, as I've added a few since then, so stay tuned for that. But let me know your thoughts on these bootleg figures. Bootleg wrestling, bootleg anything. Did you have any that were really special to you that you really enjoyed as a little kid? Maybe you didn't know they were bootlegs at the time. That's always a possibility. If you have these or seen these or even knew where they were sold at, I'm sure they were sold all over the place, flea markets, but was there a specific Dollar General, a Family Dollar, a Dollar Tree, something like that you saw these at? Let me know. I'd be very interested. I'm trying to find more research, and like I said, I'd love to track these down. So hopefully I can. So make sure you like the video, make sure you comment, make sure you share. Always good to share the video. You guys know how it goes. Follow me on social media at SirPaul64. Twitter, of course, and then Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. ProWrestlingTees.com. Support the channel, pick up a t-shirt. And yeah, that's it. Another Jakks Class Superstar video under our belt here. Next week, if you're following in order at least, next week we're starting in on the TRU Deluxe Classics. Going to be a fun one. Make sure you watch those. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. So for a little bootleg wrestling figures, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.